Hello, magnificent beings. Welcome. This is Eva Gregory. I'm the founder of the Successful Spiritual Entrepreneur Community right here and the Enlightened Business Success Academy, where we help you integrate inner guidance with the practical business strategies that are working today to consistently attract more of your high-end divine clients without compromising your spirit or your values, so that you have those interested in what you offer investing in what you offer. And I'm super excited to be here today with you and to help you turn your money blocks around. It's time to turn the money blocks around and start to grow your business and income in the way that you want it to be and the way that you deserve. And so by the end of our time together here today, you're going to discover how your money belief system is holding you back. You're going to discover how to change those deeply held limiting beliefs. You're going to know why your money habits are not black and white. They are not. This is something that I think gets in the way of so many people. It's either or, and it's not. We got to hit the gray area, guys. And how a little flexibility can allow you to create the income that you desire. And I'm also going to cover the five, they're the most common money mistakes, including a very counterintuitive change that maybe you've been resisting, but you've got to make if you want to succeed. Hey, Rachel, good to see you. So guys, whether or not you are a new entrepreneur or you've been running your online business for a while, if you are here, you know already that you need to take those steps to transform your business and your income. Most of us, we're in business because we had a passion for what we do. We have a passion. We love our businesses. But for a lot of folks, it's not bringing in the kind of income that you maybe had very optimistically anticipated. Worse, maybe you're barely getting by, or it could be your significant others griping about how much time it's taking for you to get your business off the ground, or the poor returns that it's bringing right now. These are common scenarios. They're common around coaches, healers, spiritual entrepreneurs, especially those of us who tend to be very caring people, who put helping others first. But here's the thing. There is absolutely no need for you to deprive yourself while you're helping others. In fact, that is counterproductive. And what's worse, it may even have you feeling like a fraud. All right. So you're caught up in this proverbial catch-22 where the harder you work, the more you spin your financial wheels. You feel stuck. And that's why you're here. And so we're going to take a look at 5 simple money mindset steps that you can take to get that ball rolling again and break that cycle. Okay? So let's start with the first steps to challenge your money belief system. Okay? So that before we can do anything else, we've got to challenge your money belief system. All right. So everyone has a belief system. We have a belief system about the basics in life. For example, you have a belief system around your spirituality or religion, right? You could probably put a name to your own personal religious system or spiritual system, even if that name happens to be agnostic or atheism, right? So when it comes to religion, most people know what they believe. But the amazing thing about finances is that most people take their money beliefs for granted and they don't even question them. When you first planned or you first set up your business, did you even stop to think about your money belief system and how that was going to affect your ability to create a successful business and to reach your financial goals? Did you, hey Diane, good to see you. So did you make specific financial goals when you first started your business? Are you setting financial goals now? Do you know how much you have to spend on your business, how much you need to make, how much you want to make, right? And if you answered no to any of those questions, then it's time to revisit what you believe about money. So I'm going to talk through a few common money beliefs that trip people up every day, as well as some common money mistakes. And you want to see which one of these or which ones of these might pertain to you. So the first thing you want to look at is, what do you believe about getting rich? All right. Do you believe that it only happens to other people? Do you believe being rich is immoral? Do you believe that the universe can supply enough for everybody? Or do you have this belief, yes, the universe can supply and I can't wait to be rich? Okay, so just notice where your belief system is, and do not judge yourself. There is no right or wrong. There is simply what is. Okay, we just want to look at it as just the way it is. It's nothing more than that, because the awareness is what we're going to use to help you shift it. Okay, I hope this is making sense. So whatever is coming up for you, in fact, if you have the ability to write these down, just what your beliefs are, that would be great. But just notice, okay? No judgment, no judgment. Do not let that gremlin raise its ugly head. We are where we are, and that's all we need to know. Now we can know what do we need to do to get you to where you want to be, right? Okay, so which of the following statements describes your internal deserve level? All right. So it might be, I never seem to have enough money. I don't think the universe is supporting me. Or it might be, every time I make some money, something bad happens to take it away. So, like the car breaks down or someone gets sick, those kinds of things that can happen. Or it's amazing how I just get by with enough to meet my basic needs, but I never seem to make a penny more than that. Or I feel like a fraud, so I don't charge what others charge for the same services. It's a big one. Or I'm ready right now to step up and make enough money to reach all my goals, to reach my dreams and my desires, and have some left over to help others with. So just notice where you are with that. One of my favorite phrases, I'll just give it to you right now. One of my favorite phrases for that one, like I don't charge what others do, or I'm ready to step up. Well, first of all, if you're ready to step up and make enough money to reach your goals, that's great. But the thing I come back to is, I have all the time and money in the world to do all the things I need to do and want to do, with plenty of money left over, plenty of time left over, right? So I have all the time and money in the world to do everything I need to do and want to do, with plenty of time and money left over. Now we have some left over to help others with. So there's a mantra for you. I highly recommend, or an affirmation that you sit with, especially if you feel into it. If that feels good to you, run with it. Run with it. My gift to you. Okay. All right. So which of these statements feels most true for you? And guys, whether you're here live or whether you're catching this on the replay, if you want to post what some of these beliefs are for you in the comments, I'd love to see that. And if you have any questions that come up as I'm going through this, you can post those as well. One of the things I do is I always come back, because I don't always catch everything while we're here live. I always come back and read the comments and respond to you. So make sure that you're interacting with me and ask your questions, okay? Okay, so which of these statements feels most true for you? Money is the root of all evil. And this is a feeling thing, guys. Feel, is it true? Money is something that other people have. That's a common one. Other people have it, but not so much me, right? Money's not important. Helping others is all I care about. Okay, that one I get a lot from my healers and coaches and spiritual entrepreneurs. I just want to help people. Money is not important. Another one is money is something I make easily, but I never seem to have enough for my needs. So I can make it easily, but it's never quite enough. Or money is usually the last thing I think about until I need to pay a bill. So think about that, as well as money is a game to me. It's not a goal. Money is a powerful tool that helps me through life. Or money allows me to help people, including myself. So just feel into some of these beliefs. And before you ever plan to earn a dime or to earn your next dime, depending on if you're just starting your business or you've been in, I highly recommend you sit down and you really think about your financial belief system. So in addition to feeling into some of the other statements that I've just said, I would write down all the common mantras you find yourself using, all those thoughts that seem to come up, those limiting beliefs around money and finances. Write them all down. And so, for example, if you're always thinking, well, money is the root of all evil, or actually a more common one that I hear from my folks is I'm not as good as somebody else, so I can't charge as much as others are in my field. That's a big one. Or I'm new, so I need to give discounts. So take the time to actually sit down and jot down what these beliefs are that come up for you. I actually would, have some way, a structure during the day where you just check in and say, okay, what beliefs have been coming up, right? It's like facing a monster in the bushes, okay? And when you sit down and you really look at that monster in the bushes, you'll realize that you have made that monster bigger and badder than he is. And you have given him way, way too much power. And what's more, hopefully you might realize he doesn't even exist. We're giving our power away to something that's not even our truth, right? And so that's the same thing with the money beliefs. They're buried in our subconscious. And they're usually so deep that they go back, even back to childhood. In fact, most of them came from your childhood, early childhood. And these beliefs that you have come to take in as your own are not even yours. They are not yours. They are beliefs that you inherited from your parents, from your grandparents, for those in authority. In my case, I grew up in a family where my parents were always struggling when it came to money. And so, of course, I heard all of those typical statements like, money doesn't grow on trees, or it takes money to make money and we don't have any. Or money is not that important, or money should not be that important. Don't make money so important. So think about some of the sayings that you grew up with. And if you are willing, share them in the comments so that we can know them, because what it just lets us know we're not alone in all of this, that we all carry a lot of the same beliefs or similar beliefs, right? How about all wealthy people are evil or bad or greedy? Or it's so hard to make money. Oh my God, that one is a huge one with the folks that I work with. It is so hard to make money. Or how about this one of my favorites? You can't be spiritual and be wealthy. These are deeply ingrained beliefs. These mantras, we are not even aware that we're carrying them most of the time. And what we're doing is, in our heads, in our mind, we're repeating these over and over, not repeating them like literally saying the words in our thoughts. It's just like it's there. That's just the belief I hold, and that's the perspective that I'm looking through, right? And we're not even aware of it. And so the ones that you're not aware of, especially, are the beliefs that are harder to transform. Can they be transformed? Absolutely, they can be transformed. Everything is liquid, thank goodness. Nothing is in concrete, okay? Sometimes we need coaching or we need help to get past some of our childhood stuff, depending on how deeply ingrained issues were that you had growing up, obviously. But often it's just a matter of looking at what we deeply believe and then asking yourself, is that a valid belief? Is that statement actually true? All right. And I am willing to bet that if you examined your most frequently repeated money thoughts, you're not going to need an expert, right, to tell you which are true or valid, okay, and which are negative and self-defeating. And let me just tell you something right now. If they're negative and self-defeating, then they're not your truth. That's how you know. Your truth feels good. Your truth is when you are connected to your source energy, and your source energy will always confirm based on how you feel that, yes, this is your truth. So that's one of the ways to know right away. If you say money is always hard, I can never do it, it's for somebody else, whatever the beliefs are, if they don't feel good, if they're negative, if they feel self-defeating, that is a disconnect from your higher self, from your source energy, which only holds to truth. And so, of course, with that disconnect, it doesn't feel good to you, okay? And I'm willing to bet that if you examine these mantras, then you are going to know, all right? So here's where you must trust your intuition. Trust your intuition. Trust your skills, trust your experience. You are more powerful and more capable of generating the income that you want than you have any idea. There is so much that you can create that would blow you out of the water. It would exceed your expectations, but you got to start by making a commitment to throw out those negative money beliefs and replace those harmful, untrue mantras and thoughts with positive new ones. All right. So I want to take a little break here and see. I'm on Facebook Live here today because, yay, hello, I'm actually seeing a few folks. All right, good. I'm on direct Facebook Live instead of StreamYard, and so I have to literally scroll down to see what's going on. Facebook is like giving us a little hiccups when we do a third-party app. That's why we're here on Facebook Live. But it's good to see you guys. I'm ready to receive from the universe, release my money blockages. Yes. Awesome. Tia Dorson, is that how you pronounce your name? Let me know. Are there blocks that can be released with ease? Yes, and it takes repetition. I'm going to give you a way of doing that today. However, you got to actually do it, okay? But I'm going to give that to you today. Let's see, what else is going on? I thought I saw, yeah, I did. Hey, Joan. Work has to be hard, never easy to make money. Yep. Diane, yep. Joan, money is something I accumulate, but it's never quite enough. Yes. I'm new to this business, so I have to give discounts. Oh my God, I'm going to blow things out of the water for you guys. All right. You have to work hard to earn money. Yes, Anna, another one that we do not have to take. We do not have to take that in as our own, right? So what we're going to do now is right now, the first step is you commit to throwing out those negative money beliefs. I'm going to give you a way to do it in a minute, but the first thing is you got to commit. You got to decide. You know, all beliefs are decisions. You decided that this must be the way it is. So this must be true. It was a decision. Now you get to make a new decision. And that decision is, I've decided negative money beliefs are not my truth. I've decided to replace those limited beliefs with positive new ones. So it's your decision point right here and now. The second step is to change your money mindset from rigid to flexible. Because right now, if you keep saying that, but it is hard. Look, it's always been hard. Okay, that's a rigid belief, and Law of Attraction 101 says that yes, and the more you say that and the more you focus on that, then of course, what's going to happen? You're going to create situations that come back and say yes. Because everything you focus on is always a yes to whatever you're focused on. There is no off switch when it comes to vibration, right? And that's what's happening, vibration. And then what we do, we attract other like, you know, like attracts like, basically, okay? And so when you're doing that, of course, it's going to reaffirm to you. So it's almost like, just think about it. Every time you say something, the universe agrees with you. That's what the universe does. That's what vibration does. That's law of attraction. And so if you're saying, yes, it's hard and it never works for me, the universe is going to agree with you and you're going to create more. So what we're wanting to do is we're going to cut out all of that and we're going to start focusing on things we want the universe to agree with us on, right? Okay. So we've got to change your money mindset from rigid to flexible. If you have tried to change your money beliefs and you've got nothing but, like resistance is coming up in your subconscious, it's because there is that rigid, inflexible mindset. It's something that's you've created, so it's so ingrained that we've got to get out of that. We've got to bust through that, right? And that's not something you just consciously decide. Now, you do have to consciously decide you're going to change it, and then I'm going to give you how to do it. But this is the starting point. All it is you've developed and you have embraced one way of handling your finances or your money, and you've done it this way for so many years that it's hard to step sideways and try something else. So if you think of it like a runner, this is a runner that always runs the same path day after day after day, right? So first, the grass gets worn down. Then there's like this little thin, bare ribbon of dirt where the runner's feet's passing, right? And then the grooves get worn into that dirt. And then it becomes harder and harder to move off that path. The tendency is to keep running the path. You've created this path, so why not run through the path, right? And so the runner has to make a conscious effort to leap out of those grooves and break through new grass, which if you haven't been running it is probably tall, right? It's tall all around the path because it's not been run on. That's exactly what happens to our minds when we repeat the same thoughts over and over and over again, or we perform the same action the same way, all right? So we have these hardwired patterns in our brain, and because they are there, then it's a little more difficult. It takes a little effort, consciousness. It takes consciousness and it takes commitment, along with daily repetition, to break that and create a new pattern. Okay, so how this manifests when it comes to money habits and beliefs is you find you just can't get past that negative self-defeating thought or that mantra, right? Even though your conscious mind totally sees that this is a negative thought, this is faulty, this is not effective. You know, childhood mantras are particularly hard to transform because they've been so ingrained and impressed into our psyche for so long. Everything is still liquid. Everything's liquid. It can all be changed, all right? But it's never a question of being stuck between a rock and a hard place. It's a question of looking for the alternate exits that consist of neither a rock and a hard place, right? And making that conscious decision to focus there. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to get in that tall grass and we're going to start running in that tall grass, right? And that tall grass is not comfortable. We can't see through it. We got to cut through some stuff. But that's okay, because the more you do, what happens is that negative path that we've been on, running, right? That negative path that we've been on, we're no longer running it. So what happened? This is what's happening in the neural synaptic connections in our brain. What happens is that grass, where we're trying to get the more positive being our way of being rather than the exception to the rule, we're starting to wear a path there. What happens to the old path? We're not running it. The grass starts to grow up over it. So that begins to go away. But you can't do it by focusing on what you want to have go away. We've got to focus on the new ways of being and the new thoughts you want to hold, right? So this is not a question of jumping out of the frying pan into the fire. It's a question of not stepping into the frying pan to begin with, right? So the next time someone holds that frying pan out in front of you, just say no, okay? In other words, this is not about changing your money beliefs. It's about changing your responses to money matters and to your money decisions. Okay, so we're replacing all that with something completely different. And doing this consciously, just note the results that happen when you do that, and then you start to repeat those new reactions, the new mantras, the new thoughts, the new habits. But you have to do all this consciously until it becomes your new norm. Because right now, your subconscious is running the show, and what we have to do is we do the conscious work so that it becomes subconscious, right? You got to wear down that grass. So that's number 2. The third step we have to do is we got to correct what I call the 5 most common money mistakes, at least from my perspective. I see these that especially new coaches and spiritual entrepreneurs seem to make, and they seem to make them over and over again. So I want to take a look at them and then what you can do to correct them. Number 1, my spiritual entrepreneurs, is doing it all yourself. All right. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to have a strong grasp of where you are financially. It's an even better thing to record and track your finances daily. It's a mistake to isolate yourself in your financial decisions that you make, especially if you're just starting out, or that has not been your background, or your background is those has become what you have held as your negative money beliefs, right? So you need to get someone to support you in this. I know that a lot of people don't look at getting an accountant when they first start in business. I say make that a priority. I mean, this is practical. This is the practical stuff I'm sharing with you right now. This is something an accountant or a business advisor has to be your first step. This is not something for down the road. All right. You need to know where you stand at any point in time with your business, whether you've been in business for a while or whether you're just starting out. You've got to know so that you can now consciously track where you're going. All right. I'll tell you, many, many years ago, I had a bookkeeper, and she was local to me. Now everybody's online, right? But back in the day, anyway, my bookkeeper would come in, and she would come online on my computer. She would do my books, and she even did my filing and all of that. And she kept saying, Eva, you need to sit down with me so you can understand what's going on in your business. And I was like, that's what I'm paying you the big bucks for. I don't want to know. Ostrich head in the sand. Guys, you don't have to do the work, but you need to have a good understanding, and you need someone who knows how to help you understand that. Okay. And she came to me a little later, and she says, you know what? I've decided to go in business with someone else, so I'm not going to be doing bookkeeping anymore. Oh my God. I went into immediate panic. I thought, oh, you can't leave me. What? And that was when I finally paid attention to her. And I had a story, because I was never good at math in school, which is different, by the way, from your finances, I have found. This is a lot of fun, right? But I had a story that it would be hard, that it would not be fun, and that it would just be like eyes glazed over. And she sat down with me, bless her heart, and she just took me one step at a time. She said, here's what you need to know. I had QuickBooks back then. So here's what you need to know. Now, when you're ready to do this, here's what you need to know. And she just give me a little bit at a time until it's like, oh my God, not only did I have the lights come on, right, in my eyes, in my mind, but it helps so much. It's like I've been operating in the dark. And now the lights are on, and I know right where I stand. And now it has become a game, and it's fun for me. So this is, I'm just putting my soapbox about getting your financial stuff sorted out. And the first thing you want to do is get somebody, a bookkeeper or a business advisor, that can help you with that. You need to know where you stand, and you will find out that things are not as hard as you might have thought they were. Now, some of you are saying, no big deal. That's why I've never had that. Well, you might not. I know a lot of my followers do. They're very similar to me. But a bookkeeper, just a bookkeeper, is a huge asset. So find one that specializes in your particular business, ideally one who can prepare your financial records for your accountant, who makes the final tax preparations, all of that. You're going to need the tax stuff as well. Now, I am only speaking to what I know in the United States. I am assuming there are similar things around the world in other countries. And now I have a whole firm who has the bookkeeping side and the financial advisors and the CPAs, and they're all under one roof. And so it's all, everything's very synergistic. But find just a simple bookkeeper, a bookkeeper. And whether you decide, some of you may feel like I'm very on top of my finances and you do it yourself, that's great. Just make sure that you make a conscious decision on your financial strategy for your business, on your routine. Don't just spend first and then try to figure out things later. You need to be able to project, okay? Very practical advice. You know, I'm mixing in a lot of the energy work, but you know what? It goes where spirituality and practicality merge. It's one of my taglines, okay? All right. So number 2 is you're not realizing the relationship between cause and effect. So here's how this mistake manifests financially. You have a dream. You have your desires. This is why you're in business. You want to make a difference and you want to make a big impact, and you also want to make big money, and you want to have a life of your dreams. So let's say you want to buy an island and you want to live on this island, and you are specific. You know, you've been specific. Maybe you've created the vision board and it has the photos of the type of island you want in the location that you love, the type of house you're going to have on this island, and you've added all the other things to your vision board to inspire you. And meanwhile, you're wishing you had enough money at the end of the month to afford a night out at the movies. All right. So there's a huge disconnect right now. Okay. Are you likely to achieve that dream of living on your island in a beautiful house? Not necessarily, because there's this huge disconnect between what you're doing now every day and what you need to be doing energetically and practically to get there. All right. So in reality, you're just repeating the same actions based on your money beliefs, right? You charge the same fees, maybe undercharging, and you're running your business the same way day after day. And then at the end of the month, there you are again, wishing you had enough money left over to go to the movies or go to dinner, right? So this is where energy and practical has to come together, all right? Because, right, the dream, that's what it is. It's just, it's like a wish and a hope. Someday, we're looking at out there someday. And a lot of times, folks who are holding these dreams aren't even believing it. It's lip service. They like it, but they don't even believe they can get there, okay? That has as much relationship to reality as a 9-year-old saying they want to be at Hogwarts, right? They want to have the wizardly powers, okay? So it's fiction. It's fun. It's nice to think about. It's a wonderful daydream. But right now, there's a disconnect, which makes that fiction. All right? So what you need to do is you identify your main goal when it comes to what you want to do, and dream big. I'm not saying not to dream big. I'm just saying you got to step up. Who do you need to be to have that dream? And that means, who do you need to be energetically? Who do you need to be as far as the practical aspects you're putting into place in your business? Okay? And so you analyze where you are now, and then you analyze specifically where you would like to be at the end of this journey, when you've achieved that big dream, whatever that is. And where do you need to be next month on your way to that? Where do you need to be in the next 6 months on the way to that? Where do you need to be in the next year on the way to that? And even in 5 years, depending on what your dream is. And we have lots of sub-dreams along the way, okay? So just understand that we're always looking at, what am I doing today that is supporting me moving forward to that dream? Most people are not doing that. They're saying, what am I going to do to pay the bills at the end of the month, right? And so we've got to shift that, because if your focus was on that dream, the bills you would be getting to start bringing in the money that's going to take care of that, because this is where you're focused, right? We're up here, we're focused here, and our decisions need to be made based on this, not down here. All right. So you want to decide what you're doing now that is not moving you towards that dream, both the little steps and the big steps, right? And then you got to look at, so what do I need to drop, i.e. the limiting belief, that's for sure. What do I need to do differently? And what's one rewarding thing that you'd like to achieve? Like, what is that one rewarding thing you'd like to achieve in your business or your income by the end of next month, by the end of 6 months, by the end of the year, by the end? In other words, we're creating that. We back down to what we need to be doing right here that's taking us there, versus that's out there, and in the meantime, I'm just dealing with my business. There's a disconnect, okay? So this is where you want to look at, well, then what are the steps that I need to take to achieve that? What are the milestones? And you make an inspired action plan. An inspired action plan. Inspired being the operative word here, and action, okay? So inspired action plan. And then you make a commitment to follow the plan, all right? And you start following it, and you fine tune it as you go. Like, it's not going to be a straight arrow from A to Z. We talk about this all the time. It's going to go up and down and all around. You're going to tweak, you're going to go backwards, you're going to hone a few things, and then you're going to get right back on it. But every time you do, if that's what you're focused on, you are moving forward. All right? All right. So I just want to scroll down here and just see if there's any other comments that I'm missing. All right. Hey, Michelle, good to see you here. Oh, look at Tia Dorson. I sure hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I do have big plans and 12 levels in my life. Oh, awesome. Yeah, Anna, yes. A bookkeeper was the first person I hired. I was never good at math. Yep. So, yeah, if this is a blockage, if you hold on your money, I have so little on this. Yeah, it's not about you're holding on, it's about your energy, right? It's about your energy. And of course, being an appreciation of everything that you have, no matter how little or how big, is one of the ways that you can start to free that up as well. All right, so that was step number 2, not realizing the relationship between cause and effect. All right, that's what we were just talking about. Now, mistake number 3 is when you fall for what is called the sunk costs fallacy. All right, sunk costs fallacy. And if you've ever said to yourself, for example, let's say you're paying for a subscription for something and you got it at a discount and you don't use it. You've had it for months, maybe even years, and you don't even use it. But your mentality is, I can't give that up because I got that discounted price. And if I give it up now, if I go back to it, it's going to be a lot more. You're not using it right now. If you're not using it, that's what I call a sunk costs fallacy. All right. We all fall victim to this. It's a common mistake, and it's with all of us. I'm looking at one right now that I've invested in for over a year. And it's a huge platform, and it's not panning out the way that I thought it would pan out. And I just not quite ready to let it go, because I know if I decide to let this go, I am not going to get it at the savings that I got it when I first started on it. And I've been even spending money building it out, and it's just not working. And so that's one of the things I was thinking about this morning. Is like, I think I'm going to just cut my losses, the sunk cost fallacy, right? Cut my losses and pull the plug on it. So that is what I'm talking about. And we all fall victim to this. And what the sunk cost fallacy is, it's just that you're justifying investing more money or more time in something, even though you're not getting the value, you're not using it. And you're saying, I've got to keep on because I started it. You don't, okay? It's the thing that encourages us, let's just repair the car one more time. instead of getting a new car because, God, we just put new tires on it last month, when the truth is you need to let go of the freaking car, right? It's time to get a new one, all right? That is sunk cost fallacy, right? Another one is if you are eating a meal that you don't really enjoy, but you're going to just eat it and not send it back because, okay, well, you know, I've already ordered it, right? Or you continue to pay for the tools and the resources that you're not using, right? I know a few years ago, we won't get into the book called Profit First, but I highly recommend it. Very, very practical. But one of the things to do is look at what are those sunk cost fallacies? What are all the expenses that are going out that you're not even using? And you know, I saved over $2,000 a month by yanking things. And most of it we don't, it's so little bits here and little bits there add up, guys. So you want to either make a plan to put the things to work and start actually using them and taking advantage of them if you are investing in them, or cancel them. Cancel them. Stop falling for the sunk cost fallacy. Okay? So that is mistake number 3. Mistake number 4 is too much. Are you ready for this? Penny pinching. Penny pinching. You thought I was going to say it's about overspending, right? No. Spending too little is just as bad. Spending too little is just as bad for your business. When you are always looking on the lookout for doing the free thing or getting the cheapest tools, or you're working 16-hour days because you don't want to spend the $10 or $12 an hour to outsource something, and you're spending 16 hours on something that someone who knows it could do it in an hour or 2. I learned that one myself as well, right? So if it looks like you're bootstrapping and you're working really hard to make something from nothing, but what you're really doing is you're digging yourself a rut that's going to be impossible to climb out of if you don't break that habit. This is another one where I found myself way back in the day when I was doing just one-on-one work. Wasn't even into group work at that point, just one-on-one clients. And my coach was like, Eva, get a VA. You're your own bottleneck. You're your own bottleneck. And I finally like, oh my God, it was freedom when I did that. So there's this, again, think about the money belief you have about the expense of having somebody support you. The expense, it wasn't an expense. It was an investment and a return on my investment in my business. And of course, now I've got several, right, on my team. So you've got to look at this. Don't pinch pennies. Yes, Michelle. Use it or cancel it. Yes, Anna. Awesome. Oh my gosh. So true. So just the other thing when you're penny pinching, you're reinforcing a scarcity mindset. That mindset is going to plague you for years if you let it. You've got to get out of that scarcity mindset. And so rather than pinching pennies, you want to learn how to spend your money strategically, right? Spend it strategically. Invest in what you need when you need it. I'll say a flip side of this is not penny pinching, but I see this fear a lot of folks have, and like, oh, but I should get this thing and I need to know that, so I should get that. And you're not even ready for it yet. And so you buy, especially technology, and you buy technology you're not ready to use yet. And by the time you're ready to use it, it's already out of date. So don't do that, okay? But do invest when you need it. Invest what you need when you need it. Top quality products, top quality programs, rather than settling for the low ticket half-baked plans, all right? And especially in this community where it's all about how do you attract high-end clients, you need to be a high-end client. You need to walk your talk, right? And just like quality clothes or cars and furniture, quality services and software last longer and work better in most cases, right? There's always exceptions to all rules. But unlike that car, good quality business tools and programs will pay for themselves. All right, so stop the penny pinching. And mistake number 5, of course, drum roll please, undercharging. Undercharging your clients and underpaying yourself. All right, this mistake is a biggie because it tends to affect, again, spiritual entrepreneurs, coaches, healers. We're the helpers, right? And it affects you because it's all tied in with your life experiences, but your deserve level, which we talked about, right? Deserve levels have nothing to do with what a person is worth. We are invaluable just by breathing. What we have to offer is of huge value. Guys, the ones that are in this community and that I work with, you are freaking changing lives. There is a huge value in what you do. All right. So it has nothing to do with what a person is worth. Instead, deserve levels have everything to do with what you think you're worth. Right? Mindset. And if you constantly find yourself undercharging, if your client, especially when you're creating successes, oh my gosh, clients are successful, you're getting great testimonials, but your fees are still at entry level. And especially if you feel like a fraud while you're providing the services that gets results for your clients, then you definitely have a low deserve level. All right. If your clients are happy, if they are getting transformation, they're getting results, that deserve level you set for yourself is about as justified as someone who thinks that they're over entitled, narcissistic, steamrollers over you, has no compassion for anyone else. And there are some out there, if this is where a lot of the beliefs think, like the rich are greedy and bad and evil, because we've seen examples of that. However, there are many more examples of those people who have massive compassion and heart. Okay, but that's where we get that. And so it's not a best, and think about that too. They're that way. This is something that has come up. Well, then how can they be billionaires and millionaires if they have that stuff? Well, they don't. They have no low deserve level. They have a lot of things that are missing, right, in their lives, but that's not one of them. And so it's not about what you're worth. It's about how you feel. It's about how you feel. You guys getting this? Oh my gosh, that's so important for you to get. And a big clue that you might be suffering from a low deserve level is if you feel like you're feeling like a fraud. And that has a name. It's called imposter syndrome. And that occurs when we are conned into thinking, also a limiting belief has us feeling this way, that we ought to be perfect, right? We have to look as good and be as perfect as maybe those that we look up to who've probably been in business, those who are already well known and established, and we feel like a fraud because we're offering similar things to what they offer. Who are we to be doing that? Look where they are. That is imposter syndrome, okay? That is feeling like a fraud. That is low deserve level, all right? And if you talk to any highly successful spiritual entrepreneur, coach, healer, speaker, author, change agent, you're going to find that they suffer from that same imposter syndrome. Myself included, right? And I have worked with some well-known people that are known worldwide, celebrities, well-known author, and they are going through the same thing. So just know we all have it, but some have, they've learned how to name it and recognize it for what it is and set it aside and keep moving forward in the truth of who they are. Does this make sense? Yes, Anna, you get to be perfectly imperfect. That's what you all wanted to strive for. Be perfectly imperfect. Be authentic. Be yourself. Imperfect is a mirage. There's no such thing. All right. And even if you're just starting out, guys, even if you're just starting out, do not undercut your own value. Do not discount your prices because you feel like, but I don't have enough experience. You are experienced enough to have the passion, the life experience that you have, and are able to help people. The other thing, and this is what I learned when I first got into coaching, in October of 1998, I never even heard of the coaching industry. In December, I was going through my first coaching training, and in that same month, we were told to start coaching doing free coaching sessions at the time. Do you think I knew what the heck I was doing? No, but here's what I've learned, and this is for all of you guys. The value you bring is what you want to stand strong in, whether you've been in business for a year or 10 years or 30 years or 50 years, okay? Or even just starting out. Because what I learned was we're always going to, you'll be attracting the clients. You just need to be a few steps ahead of them. Those are the ones you'll attract. And as you get better and as you get more experience, those that you attract will be at a different level as well, okay? So please do not undercut your own value. Do not undercut your own value. Do not discount your prices. Now, what you can do is you can run time-limited introductory specials. You can just stress it's an introductory special and it's for a limited time. Nothing wrong with that. I do this all the time, all right? Or you offer your introductory rate to the first X number of people who sign up. That's another great way to do it. But you just want to make sure people know that whatever the lower rate you set, it is only for a time limit, right? Or it's only numbers limited and it's introductory. All right. Is this making sense? I do this all the time. I'm always wanting to give back in that way. However, that is not my going rate and it doesn't stay there, right? So you want to make sure that you're doing the same thing. Focus on your clients. By the way, when in doubt, focus out. Focus on your clients, not on your own low deserve level. And make it a privilege for them to be one of the first people who are coaching with you. See it that way, or whatever other service you might happen to provide. Okay, so you've got to shift your deserve level before you can even set your monetary goals, before you go any further, all right? So that's just get over the deserve level, right? We're all worthy and we all have something of value, huge, more value than you even know, more value than you can even know. And so claim it, be loud and proud of what you have to offer. And then the next step, of course, is to change those negative beliefs. We call it the negative tapes, right? Undercharging can also come out of leftover old money beliefs, and they're not valid at all. All right, maybe they're even unrecognized. You don't even notice it. So that might look like, okay, so well, I'm new, like I'm a new coach. So that immediately, and I did this too, is like, okay, well, I'm just getting started. I don't even, like a month ago, I didn't even know what coaching was. How dare I charge somebody for my services yet? I need to practice. This is another one I get. You do not need to practice. It's called on-the-job training, okay? Even if you're going to do an introductory price, right? On-the-job training, okay? Because when you have somebody who's invested and you're with them, practice is never the same energy as when you're doing something for real. And eventually you've got to step up and do for real. And I see people using that as an excuse. And so when I'm working with people, it's like, no, you charge for what you're doing, okay? Because that does create that low deserve level when it comes to setting your prices. And that's when it's important to change those repetitive negative thoughts. And now we want to start to replace those with one that is more positive and more realistic. You don't think it's realistic. You're saying, that's not realistic. I haven't been doing this long enough. I'm just like, yeah, the I haven't been doing it long enough is not realistic, okay? That's not where you want to go. Okay, so here's a little mental trick that you can apply every time you catch yourself in a negative thought or the mindset. The first thing you want to do, and this is something, yeah, I would recommend writing it down, but you name that old belief, that thought that keeps coming up. Well, I'm new at this. I'm too new to charge higher fees. Not true, all right? That's an old thought. Now, you feel, you have the thought, all right? You have the thought and you feel what that thought feels like. That there's the emotion that comes up because of that thought, right? Okay, so what we want to do here, you name the thought, take the emotion out of it. It's not good, bad, right, or wrong. That's simply judgments that we put on it as human beings. This is the way it is, that I have this thought. So let's just use an example. I'm new, so I can't charge the big bucks yet for what I'm offering. All right. So, but I'm new yet. I can't charge what they're charging. So feel the emotions that might be in that. And you go, wait a minute. If we take the emotions out of that and you just describe the fact here, remove the emotion, but speak to the fact. The fact is, yes, you are a newbie. The fact is you're capable of providing what is needed. The fact is people just don't necessarily know about you yet. Those are facts. The facts that you can't charge the big bucks, that's not a fact. That's a belief. All right. So we take the emotion out. We speak to the facts. All right. Describe the situation realistically. And now you change that message into a positive reality-based message. So that would be, all right, so I've gone from I'm a newbie, so therefore I can't charge the big bucks, to wait a minute, I'm a newbie, I'm capable, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. People just don't know about me yet. And now the positive reality-based message is I deserve to charge what my services are worth as much as anybody else out there. Yes, no, maybe so? Anybody? Takers, believers, not believers? Let me know. Let me know. But this is what you want to do. Take the negative belief, strip out the emotion, and just face the facts. The facts are you're not bad, you're not incapable, you're not any of that stuff. You're just new. That's a fact. And I'm capable, and people just don't know me yet, right? And so therefore, new reality-based belief, I deserve to charge what my services are worth as much as anybody else out there. Boom. All right. So one final take that you have to change before you're going to start achieving the those bigger financial goals in your business is this. It's the take that it identifies change as fear. We're afraid. We're afraid. Ask any Olympian if they're nervous before a race. They are. All right. Ask any actor if they're nervous before a performance. They are. The answer is going to be some sort of variation of yes, right? So it's not that high performers and high achievers don't feel fear. It's just that they can transmute that fear into excitement or adventure, okay? So you want to consciously change that old take from fear responses to excitement. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm about to do this, right? You change that old take that identifies your glass as half empty to my glass is half full. I have a better one for you. And it was one I saw on Facebook, I don't know, a couple of years ago. So it says, people who wonder whether the glass is half empty or half full miss the point. The glass is refillable. It's like, yes, I love that. Absolutely. And then, of course, the final step when changing your money mindset for the better is you do want to focus on your dream or your goal that lights up your soul. All right. You've got to focus on that. Find something that is going to obsess you. It's going to possess you. It's going to inspire you, right? Something that makes it hard for you to set it aside. It's pulling you forward. It's something that makes you so eager to wake up and bounce out of bed in the morning so you can start working on it, right? That's where we want to get to. And you want to feel like every morning is the first day of the dream vacation. This is where when people say, oh, but I don't want to work a lot of hours. I don't want to work hard in my business. And I'm always saying, you don't have to. I'm telling you, I'm here to support that. And then what I find is those people who get inspired and passionate about what they're doing, and you find out they're working 14 hours and 16 hours a day, and they're like, oh, but this doesn't feel like work. That's where we want to be, right? Working hard means that there's something out of alignment. Right. Now, doesn't mean we still have things that we have to do that we don't necessarily want to do in our businesses, but that's what we do to get to the point where we pass those off to people who are better at it than we are, right? So it's a temporary thing. And when that is temporary, because you've got your eyes on the prize of that thing that's got you so inspired, it's a lot easier to do the things that you feel like you need to do right now that maybe is not what you want to be doing long term, okay? So the reality is no matter how much you love your vocation or your business, every day is going to have those other tasks in it, right? The boring tasks or the difficult ones that are hard, like my bookkeeper making me learn how to, that was my own stories, right? I still don't want to do my own books, right? I wouldn't do that. I don't recommend doing that at all. But I know what's behind it. I understand what's running my business and the decisions I need to be making, not deferring them to financial advisors or bookkeepers or CPAs, right? So there is some things that you want to do, and there are ways to minimize those things so that you do remind yourself of why you're doing it, right? You know, I talk about that in the when we did in the last attracting high-end clients workshop, where I'm talking about you get to choose your hard, right? I share this in the Enlightened Business Success Academy. You get to choose your hard. Hard is not being able to pay your bills. Hard is telling your kids you can't afford it and they can't go on the trip. Hard is the arguments you're having with your spouse or your partner because of issues like that. Hard is turning things down and going out with friends because you don't have the money. Or there's hard in what we have to do to get this business off the ground. There's hard in let's get this in place so that we can do these other things, right? So choose your hard, right? Choose your hard. I know that one of my colleagues, she says, yeah, in our household, we say we do hard well, okay? So it becomes not a negative thing. It just becomes, okay, and it's worth it. This is so worth it. And then the ones that are not worth it, then those are clear, all right? So whether you believe in what you're doing on a deep emotional level or when you do, this is when things they feel like they start to flow for you. The ideas start to come. I'm just looking at you, Anna, because of all the breakthroughs that were happening in your business and the ideas, and it's starting to come together. And now, my gosh, now somebody's saying, hey, we want to have you be part of we want you to be an expert in our association or organization, right? Or the magazine, whatever it is. These are the kinds of things that happen, okay? And so we achieve more, and we might be working harder. It just won't feel like it, okay? We will enjoy it more on our way to our dreams and our goals. People do not make commitments to things that don't inspire them. It's just as simple as that. They won't commit to things that don't inspire them, nor should they. Or they may think they do. But the fact is, if somebody doesn't like what they're doing, if they hate what they're doing, or they don't believe in it, or it's boring them before they even start, they're not going to stick to it for long. That's why my whole thing is fun is number one. Don't you ever forget it, because if it's not fun, you're not going to do it, not for long anyway, right? So that's where procrastination starts to seep in, or you avoid the tasks to that related goal, or you start to distract yourselves. And then those dreams and desires fall by the wayside. And in extreme cases, people have been known to make themselves ill, and they don't even realize that they're doing that, or they're having the breakdowns, they're feeling that burnout. In less extreme cases, it's just causing you stress, or it can also show it like you're feeling like a failure, or it's just such a chore, like you're not looking forward to it. And when you believe in something strongly enough, then you get into the habit of investing in the inspired actions, and you're not only moving forward, you're creating momentum. It's kind of like running downhill instead of running uphill, okay? So if you think about downhill ski racing, you start at the top of the hill, you push yourself off, you start off at a good speed, but then there's this momentum. It just takes you over. It's like gather the speed. And now what happens when you gather speed? You've got to focus. You've got to concentrate, right? You got to be able to control it to get down and reach that finish line. That's what we want. And that momentum is what makes every money mindset and business habit easier and easier to practice every time you repeat that habit or that mantra or that action. Make sense? That's what people who are stuck often don't realize, that it's always, or can be, not always, but a lot of times it's hard at first to break a pattern or change a habit. But the truth is, every time you repeat that particular mantra or habit, the new one, remember the grass, the tall grass? We run through it once, it's not going to be enough. We got to keep moving through it and moving through it until the grass is out of the way, and we've created that pathway that's easier and easier, and then it's naturally self-reinforcing. There is another even better side effect of breaking out of the old comfortable but negative patterns, because that's what they are. They can be comfortable, and a lot of times it's better to be uncomfortable in our comfort zones, right? And our negativity in our comfort zones than to get outside of our comfort zones. But you start to experience, when you start to experience that success breeds confidence. It doesn't start by, I'm going to be confident first, necessarily. You might be, but a lot of times you're not confident until you take the steps, and the steps help you to build that confidence with every step that you take, all right? So although there are steps you can and should take to deal with your old negative patterns, this is not about fixing yourself, guys. We are stepping into the truth of who you are. We're just replacing the old limiting stuff with the truth of who you are. You're not fixing your self-confidence first and then you're going out and succeeding. You are stepping out and taking the inspired action first, right? So it's about making a commitment that helps you to step out of your comfort zone, grit your teeth if you have to, and then perform that action. And then you surprise yourself with success. And then you think, oh, I can do that again. Because success breeds self-confidence. And it's not that, it's not the facade of self-confidence where you're saying, I'm worth it, but you're not feeling it. It's the confidence of knowing, like, I know I can do this because I just did it. I didn't know it before. I didn't have the confidence before, but I just did it and it worked. And then you take the next step and the next step. It's the confidence of seeing a good result from your actions, right? And you're more likely to make that commitment and take your action if you have a dream or a desire that is driving you and inspiring you and igniting you. That's why we want to make sure that what we're focused on is at that level, right? So if we go back and summarize the 5 money mindset steps, first is challenge those money belief systems that you have. Some you may not even be aware until you start to think about what you're thinking in any given moment. Change your mindset from rigid to flexible. That's number 2. Number 3, correct those 5 most common money mindset mistakes we just talked about. Change the negative tapes, number 4. And number 5, make sure that your dream, your desire, your goal is one that transforms and inspires you. Now, I'm not going to guarantee you a house on an island, but I do guarantee that if you make a commitment to doing this and you tackle each of these steps to the best of your ability, remember, you do not have to be perfect. You can be perfectly imperfect, but just the intention of wanting to do it and the awareness of it, you can just do it to the best of your ability. You will see positive changes. They will start to happen very quickly if you give the changes a fair chance and you persevere. We got to keep running through that tall grass until we build that new path, right? So even if you have struggled with money for years, maybe you've always been broke. I know that's how I lived growing up. Maybe you have not felt deserving. I've been there too. But you can change right now. Every moment's a new beginning. Clean slate right now. No past, no future. Right now, begin again. You can change your future. And it starts by changing your mindset when it comes to money and finances. Is it easy? Not necessarily. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Absolutely. If you just imagine being able to take the vacation that you've been promising the kids, or taking that afternoon off or a week off every month, or buying that bigger house, or maybe it's supporting a charity that's near and dear to your heart, or just stop stressing over money. God, that one right there is enough. But whatever your financial goals are, I just want you to know they are within your reach. They absolutely are. Now you just need to, we've got to bring this together and take the first step of shifting your energy and applying the practical steps, right? Where spirituality and practicality merge. So I cannot promise that you'll make $1 million, but I can promise if you do the work, you will have less stress. You will have far better relationships with money. You'll find the confidence to charge more, and I will support you in that. And finally, stop sabotaging your success. We all do it. We all do it. And I just want to say in closing, It is never about the money or the time or any other circumstance that prevents you from having what you want. It is you deciding, literally, you deciding that this is the way it's going to be. All right. And when you decide and you believe that you can have it, you will have it. It's an illusion that you can't have it. Isn't that weird? That's what we buy into. And that's the freaking illusion. That is the illusion that you can't. And from that place, you will never see a solution. And I want you to have a business and a life where you wake up every day, you're excited about your plans, you've got as much money as you desire rolling in, all your relationships are filling you up, and you are totally relaxed. And the only actions you take are from inspiration and joy. And just imagine making that shift into the freedom and the joy and the abundance that is your birthright. It is your birthright.